A desperate gambit. The distant stars twinkled coldly, indifferent to the plight of the blue-green world that hung suspended in the endless void. Earth, home to billions, bastion of humanity, now found itself facing an existential threat. An alien armada, vast and inscrutable, bore down on the solar system, its intentions clear and malevolent. In the halls of power, grim-faced leaders pored over reams of data, despair etched into every line of their faces. Earth's defenses, once thought impregnable, now seemed woefully inadequate in the face of the alien's superior technology. The future of the human race hung by a thread, and time was running out. But in a secret facility deep beneath the surface of Mars, a daring plan was taking shape. A group of Earth's brightest minds, drawn from every field of science and engineering, had gathered to devise a strategy that would turn the tide of the coming war. At the center of this audacious scheme was Admiral Sarah Catry, a battle-hardened veteran with a reputation for thinking outside the box. "We can't beat them in a straight fight," Catry said, her eyes blazing with intensity. "But we don't have to. We just need to buy ourselves some time, to find a chink in their armor." Her gaze shifted to a holographic display of the solar system, focusing on the massive form of Jupiter. "And I know just the place to do it." Under Catry's direction, a secret fleet was assembled, drawn from the most advanced ships in Earth's arsenal. But these vessels were no ordinary warships. Each had been retrofitted with experimental technologies, the fruits of the scientists' desperate labors. Cloaking devices, energy shields, and weapons of unimaginable power, all untested, all incredibly risky. As the alien armada crossed the boundary of the solar system, the human fleet took up position in the shadow of Jupiter, its massive bulk concealing their presence. The gas giant's intense magnetic fields and radiation belts played havoc with sensors, both human and alien alike. It was here, in this unlikely hiding spot, that humanity would make its stand. Aboard the flagship, the UESS Indomitable, Admiral Catry watched the alien ships on her viewscreen, her face an inscrutable mask. Beside her, Lieutenant Commander Mikhail Petrov, her trusted second-in-command, shifted uneasily. "They're heading straight for us," Petrov said, his voice tight with tension. "Do you think they've detected us?" Catry shook her head. "No. They're too arrogant. They think they've already won." She turned to face her crew, her voice ringing out across the bridge. "But they're about to learn that humanity doesn't go down without a fight. We've got a few surprises in store for them." As the alien ships drew ever closer, the hidden human fleet prepared to spring their trap. The fate of Earth, of the entire human race, hung in the balance. In the shadow of Jupiter, the tide of battle was about to turn. Springing the trap. The alien armada, a gleaming swarm of sleek, predatory ships, swept past the orbit of Io, Jupiter's innermost moon. On the bridges of the alien vessels, commanders clad in glittering exoskeletons conferred in clipped, guttural tones, their multifaceted eyes fixed on holographic displays. "No sign of resistance," one of them rasped, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "The humans cower in fear, as they should." But even as the words left the alien's mouth, the sensors on the lead ship began to wail in alarm. Proximity alerts flashed red across the displays, and the alien commander leaned forward, compound eyes widening in disbelief. "Impossible," it hissed. "Where did they come from?" In the shadow of Jupiter, the human fleet decloaked as one, a phalanx of ghostly ships shimmering into existence like vengeful spirits. At the forefront was the Indomitable, its gun ports open and ready, the crest of Earth emblazoned proudly on its hull. On the bridge, Admiral Catry leaned forward in her command chair, a predatory smile on her face. "Fire," she said, her voice calm and clear. The human ships opened fire, a storm of missiles and energy beams scything through the void towards the alien fleet. The aliens, caught off guard, scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The first salvo struck home, and alien ships blossomed into fiery supernovae, their hulls rent asunder by the humans' advanced weapons. The battle was joined, and the void around Jupiter was lit by the strobe-like flashes of weapons fire and the silent explosions of dying ships. The aliens fought back with all the ferocity and skill of a warrior race, but the humans had the advantage of surprise and superior tactics. Admiral Katri directed the battle with the sure hand of a master tactician, her ships dancing a deadly waltz around the alien fleet. The experimental technologies proved their worth, as human vessels shrugged off alien weapons fire that would have obliterated any ordinary ship. But the aliens were quick to adapt, and soon the tide of battle began to shift. The alien ships regrouped, forming a defensive perimeter around their flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons. They poured fire into the human lines, and the Indomitable shuddered under the impact of multiple hits. On the bridge, alarms wailed and sparks flew from shattered consoles. Lieutenant Commander Petrov clung to his station, blood streaming from a gash on his forehead. "Shields down to 30%, he shouted over the din, "we can't take much more of this." Admiral Katri gritted her teeth, her mind racing. The aliens were rallying, and if they managed to break through the human lines, all would be lost. She had to do something, had to find a way to turn the tables once more. "Helm, bring us about," she ordered. "We're going in." Petrov stared at her, aghast. "Admiral, that's suicide. We'll be cut to pieces." Katri fixed him with a steely gaze. "We have no choice. We have to take out their flagship. It's the only way." As the Indomitable swung about, preparing for a desperate charge into the heart of the alien fleet, a new contact appeared on the sensors. A massive ship, dwarfing even the alien dreadnought, was approaching fast, its hull adorned with strange, alien glyphs. Katri felt a chill run down her spine. She had heard the rumors, the whispered tales of an alien tactician of unparalleled skill and ruthlessness. A being known only as the Admiral, the scourge of a dozen star systems. And now, it seemed, the Admiral had come to the solar system, drawn by the chance to crush humanity once and for all. As the alien reinforcements bore down on the beleaguered human fleet, Admiral Katri knew that the true test was yet to come. The fate of Earth, of all she held dear, would be decided in the next few hours. In the shadow of Jupiter, the battle raged on, and the stars watched in silence, waiting to see who would emerge victorious. The alien ace. As the alien reinforcements surged into the fray, the human fleet found itself pushed back, forced to give ground in the face of the enemy's overwhelming firepower. The alien ships moved with a deadly grace, their formations fluid and adaptable, a testament to the skill of their commander. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Katri watched the tactical display with growing concern. The alien flagship, a behemoth of a ship, was carving a path through the human lines, its weapons laying waste to any vessel that dared stand in its way. "That ship is the key," Katri muttered, her eyes narrowed. "If we can take it out, we might still have a chance." But even as she spoke, the Indomitable shuddered under the impact of a direct hit. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks, and the lights flickered ominously. "Damage report." Katri barked, gripping the arms of her command chair. "Hull breach on deck 7 through 9, Petrov reported, his face grim. "We've lost main power to the forward gun batteries." Katri cursed under her breath. The Indomitable was a tough ship, but even she had her limits. They needed to end this, and fast. "Helm, bring us about," she ordered. "We're going to make a run on that flagship." Petrov's eyes widened. "Admiral, we'll be cut to pieces." Katri fixed him with a steely gaze. "If we don't take that ship out, we're all dead anyway. This is our only chance." As the Indomitable swung about, the alien flagship loomed ahead, its hull bristling with weapons. On the bridge of the alien vessel, the Admiral stood tall, its exoskeleton gleaming in the harsh light. "The humans are desperate," it rasped, its voice cold and pitiless. "They know they cannot win. Crush them." The alien ship opened fire, a storm of energy beams and missiles streaking towards the Indomitable. Katri gritted her teeth, watching as her ship's shields flared and flickered under the onslaught. "Hold steady," she urged, her voice calm despite the chaos around her. "Just a little closer." But even as the words left her mouth, a massive explosion rocked the Indomitable, throwing Katri from her chair. She hit the deck hard, pain lancing through her body. Through a haze of smoke and sparks, she saw Petrov slumped over his console, blood pooling beneath him. Around her, the bridge was in ruins, the once proud ship reduced to a shattered hulk. On the view screen, the alien flagship loomed, its weapons glowing with deadly intent. Katri struggled to her feet, her uniform torn and bloody. "All hands, abandon ship," she croaked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Get to the escape pods." As the crew scrambled to evacuate, Katri stumbled to the helm, her hands flying over the controls. She had one last card to play, one final gambit that might just turn the tide. With a grim smile, she set a collision course for the alien flagship, the Indomitable's engines straining as the ship surged forward. The alien vessel, sensing the danger, tried to pull away, but it was too late. The two ships collided in a blinding flash of light, the Indomitable's hull crumpling like tin foil. But even as her ship died around her, Katri felt a fierce surge of satisfaction. She had bought her people time, precious moments in which to regroup and rally. The battle was not over yet. As the wreckage of the Indomitable drifted through the void, escape pods jettisoning from its ruined hull, the human fleet fought on, desperate to hold the line against the alien onslaught. In the shadow of Jupiter, the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and every man and woman fought with the courage of the damned, knowing that surrender was not an option. They would win this battle, or die trying. Humanity's heroes. In the wake of the Indomitable's destruction, the human fleet was in disarray, its ships scattered and battered, its crews reeling from the loss of their flagship and their admiral. But even in their darkest hour, the men and women of Earth refused to give up. On the bridge of the UESS Dauntless, Captain Lena Ivanova surveyed the damage reports with a grim eye. Her ship had taken a beating, but it was still in the fight, and as long as a single human vessel remained operational, the battle would go on. "Divert all available power to the shields," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "And get me a status report on our fighter squadrons." In the hangar bays of the human ships, pilots and technicians worked feverishly to repair and rearm their craft, knowing that every minute counted. Among them was Lieutenant Jake "Ace" Hawkins, one of the fleet's top pilots. As he climbed into the cockpit of his fighter, Hawkins felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. He had flown dozens of missions, but none as important as this one. The fate of his species hung in the balance, and he would do whatever it took to ensure its survival. "All right, people, listen up," he said over the comm, his voice crackling with static. "We're going out there to buy our ship some time. We hit the aliens hard and fast, and we don't let up until they break." As the fighters streaked out of the hangar bays, they were joined by a motley assortment of smaller craft, shuttles, transport ships, even a few civilian vessels that had been pressed into service. Every available hand was needed in this desperate hour. Among the civilian volunteers was Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant xenobiologist who had dedicated her life to the study of alien life. Now, she found herself on the front lines of a war for survival, her expertise in alien physiology and technology invaluable to the human cause. In the makeshift lab she had set up on one of the transport ships, Chen worked tirelessly to analyze the data streaming in from the battlefield, looking for any weakness in the alien defenses that could be exploited. "There," she said, pointing to a schematic of an alien ship. "Their shields are vulnerable at this frequency. If we can hit them with a focused electromagnetic pulse, we might be able to take them down." The information was relayed to the fleet, and soon the human ships were targeting the alien vessels with a new weapon, a devastating EMP that left the enemy reeling. But even as the tide began to turn, the alien flagship remained a looming threat, its weapons carving a path of destruction through the human lines. Captain Ivanova knew that they had to take it out, but with the Indomitable gone, they lacked the firepower to do so. That was when a desperate plan began to take shape. A small team of human special forces, led by the enigmatic operative known only as Ghost, would infiltrate the alien flagship and sabotage it from within. It was a suicide mission, and everyone knew it. But Ghost and his team were the best of the best, and they were willing to lay down their lives for the greater good. As the special forces boarded a cloaked shuttle and set off towards the alien flagship, the rest of the fleet prepared for a final, desperate assault. They would throw everything they had at the enemy, buying Ghost and his team the time they needed to complete their mission. In the shadow of Jupiter, the battle raged on, and the courage and sacrifice of Earth's heroes shone like a beacon in the darkness. They would not go gentle into that good night, but would rage against the dying of the light. Victory or oblivion. As Ghost and his team made their way through the alien flagship, the battle outside reached a fevered pitch. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, fought with a desperate fury, throwing themselves at the enemy with reckless abandon. Captain Ivanova stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, her face illuminated by the glow of the tactical display. The alien ships were taking a heavy toll, but they kept coming, driven by a relentless, implacable will. "Concentrate all fire on the flagship," Ivanova ordered, her voice steady despite the destruction all around her. "We have to give Ghost and his team more time." In the bowels of the alien flagship, Ghost and his operatives moved like shadows, planting explosives at key structural points. They had studied the schematics provided by Dr. Chen, and knew exactly where to strike to inflict maximum damage. But as they made their way deeper into the ship, they encountered resistance. Alien soldiers, alerted to their presence, swarmed through the corridors, their weapons spitting deadly energy bolts. Ghost and his team fought back with skill and courage, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. One by one, they fell, until only Ghost himself remained, wounded but unbroken. With grim determination, he made his way to the ship's reactor core, knowing that this was the key to their victory. If he could detonate his remaining explosives here, the chain reaction would tear the flagship apart from the inside out. As he set the charges, Ghost's thoughts turned to his fallen comrades, and to the countless billions of lives that hung in the balance. He knew that he would not survive this mission, but he was at peace with that. He had done his duty, and now it was up to fate to decide the rest. With a final, defiant roar, Ghost detonated the explosives, and the alien flagship was engulfed in a blinding flash of light. On the bridges of the human ships, crews watched in stunned silence as the massive vessel came apart, torn asunder by the force of the blast. For a moment, all was still. And then, with a triumphant cheer, the human fleet surged forward, seizing the opportunity to press their advantage. The alien ships, thrown into disarray by the loss of their flagship, began to break and run, their formations shattering under the onslaught of human weapons.